Imagine a friendly neighbor, a man who shovels snow for the elderly and delights children at birthday parties as Pogo the Clown. He throws fundraising barbecues, shakes hands with politicians, and seems like the picture of civic virtue. Now picture him as a sadistic killer responsible for the torture and murder of dozens of young men. This chilling duality defines John Wayne Gacy, a monster who hid beneath the mask of a beloved community figure. John Wayne Gacy cultivated a wholesome image with meticulous care. He volunteered at local charities, served as district captain for the Democratic Party, and even ran a successful construction business. This face was carefully constructed, earning him the trust and admiration of his neighbors. He was the kind of guy who'd mow your lawn if you were sick, the one who always volunteered to help out at church events. Yet beneath this seemingly perfect exterior lurked a dark reality. Gacy's early life provides a potential glimpse into the origins of his monstrous behavior. Marked by physical abuse and relentless criticism from his controlling father, Gacy became withdrawn and carried deep-seated emotional wounds. He struggled with his sexuality, living a double life as a homophobic homosexual, in strong denial. These factors, coupled with an obsessive fascination with death, as illustrated by his involvement in the death chamber as a morgue assistant. Despite these early warning signs, Gacy managed to build a seemingly normal life on the surface. He married, climbed the social ladder in his community, and earned the trust of those around him. Yet beneath the surface, his dark urges festered. He harassed young employees with suggestive comments, made veiled threats that went unnoticed, and engaged in predatory behavior that raised few red flags. These warning signs, however, were either dismissed as harmless jokes or simply ignored. Looking back, it's easy to wonder if anyone truly knew the man behind the mask. The turning point came in December 1978, when a teenage boy, Robert Piest, vanished after meeting Gacy about a potential job. When the boy's mother, Elizabeth, reported him missing, the police initially focused their investigation elsewhere. However, Elizabeth's constant search for answers and inconsistencies in Gacy's story forced them to take a closer look. Their initial doubts about the well-respected businessman slowly gave way to suspicion as they discovered inconsistencies in his story and a criminal record for assaulting a teenager several years prior. Armed with a search warrant, police descended upon Gacy's seemingly ordinary house. Initially, Gacy appeared unafraid, even confident, inviting officers inside. But the detectives quickly noticed a foul odor emanating from the house, which they recognized as the stench of death. This, coupled with the discovery of suspicious items, drugs, ropes, and unidentified IDs, convinced them they needed a second search warrant. This time, their worst fears were confirmed. Lifting the floorboards in the crawl space beneath Gacy's house, they unearthed a horrifying discovery: an abandoned graveyard packed with the decomposing bodies of Gacy's victims. The investigation exposed Gacy's twisted methods. He targeted young men and boys, many down on their luck or struggling financially. Gacy found them at bus stations, parks, or even on the streets. He used different tactics to lure them in, promising jobs, drinks, drugs, or even money for sex. Sometimes he went as far as pretending to be a police officer to gain their trust. Unaware of the danger, these young men readily followed Gacy, never suspecting the horrifying fate that awaited them. Once alone with his victim, Gacy carefully cultivated a sense of trust. He offered them drinks or drugs to make them feel relaxed. Then he introduced the handcuffs, claiming it was all part of a magic trick he liked to perform. Unaware of his true intentions, the victim allowed Gacy to cuff their hands behind their backs. But Gacy had a hidden key, allowing him to easily free himself while his victim remained trapped. This seemingly innocent act was the first step in Gacy's twisted plan, a calculated move that left his victims vulnerable and at his mercy. Gacy then tortured and raped his victims. He burned them with cigarettes, forcing them to endure excruciating pain. In some cases, he forced them to pretend to be animals, further degrading and humiliating them. He even used foreign objects to inflict further suffering. These acts were not random. They were deliberate attempts to break his victims' spirits and leave them completely under his control. Gacy typically killed his victims by strangling them with a rope. He used a rope, tightening it around his victim's neck with a hammer handle. This was a slow process, designed to prolong their suffering. Some victims died quickly, losing consciousness within minutes. Others weren't so lucky, enduring a terrible struggle for hours before succumbing to suffocation. The act itself was a warped form of control, a way for Gacy to exert his power over life and death. After killing his victims, Gacy didn't immediately dispose of the bodies. He kept them under his bed for a day, a chilling reminder of his deeds. In an attempt to accelerate decomposition, he sometimes poured lime on the bodies. In some unsettling cases, he even preserved the bodies before finally burying them. The chosen burial ground? The crawl space beneath his own house. Imagine the horror living above a graveyard filled with the remains of your victims. This was Gacy's twisted way of keeping his crimes close, a constant reminder of his monstrous acts. His wife, oblivious to the horrors taking place beneath their very feet, had complained about the foul smell and suspicious belongings she found around the house. However, Gacy easily dismissed her concerns, further highlighting his manipulative nature. Gacy's victims were primarily young men who didn't report his suspicious behavior due to fear or distrust of authority. Some who defied his advances or managed to escape his clutches recounted stories of how Gacy would become aggressive and threatening when faced with rejection. These accounts, coupled with the fact that many of his victims were struggling financially or homeless, paint a picture of a predator who preyed on the vulnerable. Their silence allowed him to continue his reign of terror for years. The arrest of the seemingly respectable John Wayne Gacy sent shockwaves through the community. His prominent status and carefully crafted public image had allowed him to operate undetected for years. This chilling realization exposed flaws in the system, failures in connecting the dots between suspicious activities, and an over-reliance on outward appearances. Neighbors who had known Gacy for years expressed disbelief and horror, struggling to reconcile the friendly clown with the monster he truly was. Gacy's trial was a media frenzy. The once charismatic community leader appeared to be a monster. He confessed to killing 33 young men, although investigators believed the number could be higher. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was convicted on all counts. Even though the jury found the defendant guilty, the possibility of collaborators or a larger network lingered. Some theories suggested Gacy may have had help disposing of bodies or luring victims, but these claims were never substantiated. On May 10, 1994, Gacy was executed by lethal injection. He offered no final words, leaving behind a legacy of fear and a chilling reminder that evil can lurk beneath the most ordinary facades. The Gacy case serves as a warning with important lessons for society. It highlights the importance of critical thinking, questioning assumptions, and reporting suspicious behavior. It's a call for vigilance, urging us to look beyond appearances and create a community where trust is earned, not simply assumed. Law enforcement can learn from the Gacy case by emphasizing the importance of thorough investigations and connecting seemingly unrelated dots. In focusing on the monster, it's easy to forget the victims. Each of Gacy's victims was a young man with a life, dreams, and loved ones who mourned their loss. Remembering their stories remind us of the devastating impact of Gacy's crimes. John Wayne Gacy's crimes shook a community and continue to fascinate and horrify us today. The case serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk anywhere, disguised as a friendly neighbor or a cheerful clown. It's a call to action, to be aware of the signs of predatory behavior, to report suspicious activity to authorities, and to create a society where trust is fostered through open communication and vigilance. If you suspect someone is hiding a dark secret or engaging in suspicious behavior, trust your instincts and report it to the authorities. Let's learn from the Gacy case and build a community where safety and awareness are paramount. For more information about similar cases, subscribe to our channel. Stay informed, stay safe.